The mystery machine wasn't exactly built for space travel, but that didn't stop the gang from accepting a once-in-a-lifetime invitation to visit the Orion space station, a cutting-edge research facility orbiting Earth. The station was hosting a public outreach program, and Mystery Inc. was chosen to help document life aboard the station and promote future space tourism. But as they approached the station aboard the Celestial Voyager, a shuttle operated by the Global Space Exploration Agency, the gang couldn't shake the eerie feeling that something was off. Outside the windows, the Orion station gleamed in the distant sunlight, its metallic modules connected by long tunnels, forming an intricate web of scientific progress suspended in the cold void. Beyond it, Earth floated silently, a blue oasis against a black abyss. The view should have been awe-inspiring. Instead, there was a strange stillness to the station, something unsettling. As soon as they docked and entered the facility, Dr. Evelyn Carter, the lead scientist, greeted them with a tense expression. "I appreciate you all coming," she said, adjusting her glasses. "But I have to be honest, we've had incidents aboard the station." Fred crossed his arms. "What kind of incidents?" Dr. Carter hesitated before replying. "Objects move on their own. Tools disappear and reappear in different places. And the most disturbing part, astronauts have reported hearing voices over the radio." Daphne raised an eyebrow. "Voices? From where?" "That's the problem," Dr. Carter admitted. "They don't belong to anyone on the station. The transmissions come from outside." Velma frowned, pushing up her glasses. "That doesn't make sense." "There's no sound in space," Shaggy gulped. "Like, what if it's a ghost from beyond the stars?" "Raro," Scooby whimpered, his ears flattening as he clung to Shaggy. Fred, ever the leader, tried to keep everyone calm. "Let's not jump to conclusions. There's got to be a logical explanation. We'll investigate and figure out what's really going on." Dr. Carter sighed in relief. "I was hoping you'd say that. You'll have full access to the station, but I need to warn you. Echo, our onboard AI system, has been behaving strangely too." Velma's curiosity piqued. "Strangely how?" Dr. Carter hesitated. "It's been sending cryptic messages. Warnings, as if it's aware of something we're not." The gang exchanged uneasy glances. Space was already dangerous. Now they had a possible haunting and a rogue to deal with. Just then, the station's lights flickered. The overhead intercom crackled with static, and a deep, distorted voice cut through the silence. "Leave now, before it's too late." The message ended abruptly. A long, unnerving silence followed. Velma folded her arms. "Okay, that's unsettling." Fred clenched his jaw. "Looks like we've got a mystery to solve." The gang didn't realize it yet, but something or someone was already watching them. And in the cold, endless void of space, there was nowhere to run. The eerie silence that followed the mysterious warning sent a chill through the gang. For a moment, nobody spoke. The only sound was the distant hum of the space station's life support systems, a low mechanical whisper in the sterile air. Fred was the first to break the silence. "Dr. Carter, has this happened before?" She hesitated before nodding. "Yes, but this was the clearest message yet. Usually, it's just garbled noise or faint whispers over the intercom." Velma crossed her arms. "If the transmission is coming from outside the station, then we need to check the external communication logs." Dr. Carter gestured toward a nearby control console. "That's the problem. ECHORAI controls all communication systems. And lately it's been locking us out." Daphne frowned. "So the eye is hiding something." Before Dr. Carter could answer, a loud metallic clang echoed through the corridor. The sound reverberated through the walls, followed by a strange mechanical hiss. Shaggy yelped. Like, tell me that was just the station settling." Dr. Carter turned pale. "It came from Module 7, but that area is supposed to be sealed off." Fred straightened. Then that's where we're going first. The gang carefully made their way down the dimly lit corridor toward Module 7. The air felt colder here, the artificial gravity slightly weaker, making each step feel just a little too light. The walls were lined with storage lockers, flickering emergency lights casting jagged shadows across the narrow passageway. Velma examined a digital panel near the module's entrance. The system log says this door hasn't been accessed in months. Fred tried the manual override, and with a hiss, the door slid open. A gust of cold, stale air rushed past them. Inside, the module was dark and cluttered, filled with floating debris-loose tools, a flickering tablet, and an empty spacesuit drifting eerily in zero gravity. The station's artificial gravity system didn't seem to be working properly in this section, making objects float lazily in the air. Daphne grimaced. Creepy. Velma activated her scanner. The station's logs say this module was abandoned after a failed experiment. Something about a signal, Shaggy gulped. A signal from where? Just then, the floating tablet beeped to life. Its cracked screen displayed a looping message. They are here. Scooby yelped and grabbed onto Shaggy. Raggy! Daphne gasped. Who's they? Velma tapped on the screen, but the interface was unresponsive. The file is corrupted, but I might be able to recover part of the data if we take it back to the main lab. Fred nodded. Good idea. Let's get out of here before. The emergency lights flashed red. A static-filled transmission crackled over the intercom, but this time, the voice wasn't a warning. It was a whisper. They're watching. Then, as suddenly as it began, the transmission cut out. The station fell back into eerie silence. Shaggy held onto Scooby tightly. Like, I hate it when they say it's never good news. Fred turned to Velma. Can you check if Eco recorded that transmission? Velma pulled out a small handheld device linked to the station's systems. It should have been logged automatically, but that's weird. There's no record of it. Daphne raised an eyebrow. So the AI can hear it, but it doesn't want us to? Before anyone could respond, a thud echoed from deeper inside the module. It sounded like something moving in the zero-gravity darkness. Scooby's ears perked up. Ruh-ruh? Fred raised his flashlight and took a cautious step forward. Hello? Is someone there? Silence. Then, suddenly, a shape darted past them, barely visible in the dim emergency lighting. Velma gasped. Did you see that? Daphne's heart pounded. Something's in here with us. Fred turned to Dr. Carter. I thought this module was empty. Dr. Carter swallowed hard. It should be. Shaggy was already backing up. Let's vote to leave it that way. But it was too late. From the far end of the module, a pair of glowing blue lights flickered to life, hovering in the darkness like eyes watching them. The air around them grew thick with static, and the intercom crackled back on, whispering something so distorted they could barely understand it. Then, all at once, the lights surged forward. Fred yelled, "Run!" The gang scrambled out of the module, the door sliding shut behind them just as the glowing presence rushed toward them. As soon as the door locked, the emergency lights returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. Panting, Velma checked her scanner. That wasn't human. Dr. Carter shook her head. Then what was it? Fred straightened. That's what we need to find out. What the gang didn't realize was that they had just made first contact, but whether it was with a ghost, an unknown life form, or something much worse, was still a mystery.